Ben Riggs, who sang that song, is one of my oldest and dearest friends. He sent me that recording for my birthday last week. That song means a lot to me. In fact, Ben sang it at my ordination service many moons ago. To me, that song just speaks to the yearning, the desire that I presume is within every person to soar, to achieve, to dream, to be free. I chose that song for today because it is clear that the opportunity to soar is not afforded equally to every person. As Reverend Al Sharpton said, George Floyd's story has been the story of Black people for over 400 years. How do you fly with a knee on your neck? Of course, not all people who are white see things in this way. Some people who are white simply do not recognize the privilege that comes along with that. A white person in America has been swaddled in the cocoon of white privilege since birth. They've never known anything different. They may have Black colleagues, even friends, and they think that that means they are not racist. They never owned slaves. When a tragedy occurs, such as the killing of George Floyd, they may even protest against the bad cops or others who use their authority to diminish minority lives and minority rights. But they see those so-called bad apples as the exception, as an aberration in a system that is mostly fair and just, when in fact the system itself is neither fair nor just. It's taken me a lot of years to begin to awaken to the deep sea of racism that we're all swimming in. And honestly, it's a wonder I ever woke up to it. After all, I grew up in Arlington, Texas, where I received the general cultural message that race didn't matter, everybody is equal. I was aware of the existence of Black and brown people, of course, but no Black people lived in my neighborhood growing up, and I never even noticed. I never had a Black teacher in 12 years of public school. Excuse me, not one Black teacher. And then 4 more years of college, not one Black professor. It wasn't until I went to graduate school in my 30s that a person of color was my professor. Church was my life growing up. Actually, it still is my life. But growing up, I never heard a Black preacher, not in person anyway. Of all of the authority figures in my life, doctors, camp counselors, youth group leaders, Sunday school teachers, youth group leaders, nurses, I said youth group leaders twice, but you get the idea. Every single one of them had skin that looked like mine. And yet, I didn't think of myself as racist. We weren't racist. Only bad people were racist. As I look back on it now, I don't know what's more telling. The fact that in the first 30 plus years of my life, I was around so few people of color, or that I really didn't notice their absence. I'm not apologizing for my life. It was what it was, just as yours is. I'm just making the point that growing up, I really wasn't taught to think about things like how my life experience might be different from that of a person of color. As a white person, for example, it would never occur to me that the police would be called because I was waiting in Starbucks for a friend before I ordered my coffee. Or that someone would call the police on me because I said, "Would you please leash your dog?" I never had to have the talk with my son about how to act when he is stopped by the police. It would never occur to me that my son would be executed on the street for a petty crime that no one even proved he did. I can't even fathom that. It is an experience I truly cannot understand. Nothing in my life growing up prepared me for that reality. As social justice educator Robin DiAngelo says, if you are a white person in America, you are racist, plain and simple. And without a lifetime of conscious efforts, you always will be. DiAngelo calls it white fragility. She, of course, is the author of the best-selling book on the subject. By white fragility, she means the apparent unwillingness or inability of a white person to recognize racial inequality and to own their complicity with it. The book came out a couple of years ago, was well received. Now it again is flying off the shelves. It has taken one more black man murdered in the most callous and public way to begin to awaken countless white people to privilege. Kathy Bowser referred to what she perceives as an opening right now to actually make progress. I hope she's right. Maybe people who are white are closer than they have ever been, or closer than they have been in a long time, to understanding privilege and understanding that the only way we will bring about lasting change is to pledge a lifetime of conscious effort. I've been involved in activism for a long time. Many of you have too. If we are able to make the kind of progress that we have worked for, to build the kind of world that we've dreamed of, we have to work on ourselves. We have to fully invest ourselves in education and relationships and bridge building. Marches, demonstrations, vigils are not long-term strategies. They're very, very important, but they're not enough. Hope is not a strategy. Nothing takes the place of doing the work, of listening deeply to the voices of Black and brown people. There are lots of ways to do that, reading books by Black authors, watching films by Black filmmakers that feature Black actors. If you are someone who wants to work on your internalized racism, I hope that you will join me for our newly revived Racist Anonymous group. We're going to start out meeting on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock, beginning this Wednesday. Some have expressed interest in an evening group, so please let the office know if that appeals to you, and we're trying to put that together. We'll do it on Zoom, of course, for now, and we'll be meeting every week. Racist Anonymous is a sort of 12-step approach to overcoming racism. It was developed by Ron Buford. It assumes racism as a kind of addiction. It's not precisely an addiction, but it's the idea that we are powerless over our own racism because it is so deeply ingrained in us in ways that we are unable to recognize fully. We need help, and that's where the group comes in. If you try it, you can expect to spend an hour a week, or at least on the weeks that you're able to make it, learning from and building relationships with other people who want to be on this journey to overcome racism in ourselves. If you don't want to do that, okay, that's up to you. If you do, this is an opportunity. In closing, I want to mention one more thing. For the most part, we are a progressive, white congregation. In so much of related literature on racism in the United States, again and again, people of color report that white people who see themselves as liberal can be the hardest, most offensive, most resistant, most arrogant in their certitude that they are not racist. Their energy goes into making sure that everybody sees it is not them. There are none so blind as those who will not see. I want to do my very best to see, and I know many of you do too. And to do that, we need each other. Racist and Honest will start this Wednesday at 2 on Zoom. If you're on the church email list, you'll receive a link. You can also message the church office, and we'll send it to you. All are invited, near and far, members or not. I hope to see you on Wednesday. On Zoom, I will actually get to see your faces, and I think that's great. I really look forward to that. So don't do that thing where your screen is black and just your name is on there. I want to see your face. Friends, thank you for making time to worship today. Who knows what the coming week will hold? I pray that you, through all of the challenges and chances and changes of your life, can find a way to live from a place of centeredness. Remember, you are the light of the world. Go forth and shine. In the name of our God, who is our Creator and our Redeemer and our Sustainer, go blessed.